everybody. Thank you for the invitation to this webinar. I will talk about the some solutions to minimize problems in the biogas sector, and specifically, I will focus on Mexico's learning network experience. And my experience is mainly as a consultant at IBTech company and also as a member of the National Council of Biogas, the CNBiogás.
Really? You became muted.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're back now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why. Thank you. So let me talk about briefly about the current situation of the biogas in Mexico. Unfortunately, there is a lot of opportunity. We are very behind the optimum scenario in Mexico. Biogas is
You're muted again. I don't know what's happening, but now you are back, I think.
yes, I am just manipulating my presentation.
But you're back now. Fingers crossed.
I am just manipulating my presentation. I hope this not happen again. Okay, biogas is used only in 20% of digesters in the agricultural sector. Also, biogas is used only in 30% of the wastewater treatment plants larger than 250 liters per second. We know that the 250 liters per second means that means a wastewater treatment plant that serves for about 100,000 population equivalent. So that large wastewater treatment plants really, the biogas use should be a first option. And in Mexico, only 30% of these large plants use it. And very, very bad news, only around 7% of landfills use biogas. Unfortunately, in Mexico, landfills are the most recommended technology for waste treatment and disposal. And landfills are not in a, is not the optimum technology for recovery resources. In landfills, the wastes are commonly mixed, so we cannot reuse easily the organic fraction. And commonly as well, the biogas is just emitted freely into the atmosphere, as we can see in these pictures. But many efforts have been done in Mexico. For instance, the Ministry of Agriculture and Fishery some years ago provided funds for the installation of 380 biodigesters and more than almost 200 of motor generators to use biogas. And this was a very strong effort to promote this clean energy. However, only 40% of the motor generators installed worked properly. Unfortunately, many of the anaerobic lagoons or biodigesters are out of operation, abandoned. Of course, biogas is not being generated or captured. And the sad news of this scenario is that all these projects, anaerobic projects that didn't work properly, caused that during the last decades, mainly in the 90s, the biogas sector was stigmatized. This means that the municipalities, authorities, potential clients and industries didn't want to hear about anaerobic treatment and biogas because they suppose that this technology were related to compulsory, to bad odors and social problems. Other effort, very important investment in Mexico was the wastewater treatment plant at Totonilco. Totonilco receives 60% of wastewater from the Valley of Mexico since 2017. This is the largest wastewater treatment plant in Latin America and the third in the world. It has an influent capacity for 35 cubic meters per second. And as you can see in this picture, it has anaerobic technology. It has 30 anaerobic digesters installed, 7 gas holders, and 12 motor generators, CHP machines of 1,200 kilowatts each one. So these plants generate the 80% of its electricity consumption. Unfortunately, since the beginning of its operation, this plan has had lack of social acceptance, mainly from due to the farmers who prefer using raw wastewater. They claim that raw wastewater has the nutrients for their crops. They don't want to use treated, the anaerobic treated sludge. And currently, all this sludge is being disposed to this landfill. Despite the sludge can be given for free to the farmers, nobody wants to pay the transportation to the agricultural areas. So it is a sensible problem in this wastewater treatment plant. Another important effort done from 2015 and only for 2 years was the use of the clean energy certificates, cells. Cells had the objective to reduce the contribution of fossil fuels in the generation of electricity, and they were supposed to help Mexico's commitment in Paris. The goal is to increase the contribution of clean energy from 30% to 50% by 2050. So anyone that the generators of electricity need to generate certain fraction of the electricity with clean energy sources. If not, they need to buy clean energy certificates. One cell equivals to 1 megawatt of clean energy. The cells has been used in many other countries, and the price of each cell depends on the free market conditions. So if you need to buy a cell, you can choose the cheapest one in the market. The good news is that these free market conditions helped that the price of the cells reduced by a half from only in 2 years, because the price of the photovoltaic energy in Mexico became the cheapest in the world, and this was celebrated in many news in Mexico. But the drawback of this is that biogas projects are too expensive compared to the cost of each megawatt of energy produced by the sun or the wind. So in the market, biogas was didn't have any opportunity to compete with solar and wind energy, and this and the clean energy certificates didn't help the biogas sector at all. Okay, now as you can see, there have been many important efforts in Mexico, but not necessarily the results has been the ones expected. And this is why it is important to reinforce the biogas sector with a good network. And let me show you some network experience that we have had in Mexico. For example, in the NRES program, NRES was a program promoted by the GIZ in Mexico. NRES means energetic reuse of urban solid wastes. And the objective of this program was, of this learning network in NRES program, was to encourage the discussion and analysis of common problems in wastewater operation, where biogas is generated and used. So we invited participants from other plants in Mexico, participants that were operation operators, independent consultants, and the ones that were in charge of the wastewater treatment plants. And we meet in one plant. We discuss technical issues regarding biogas. We share experiences, and of course, we visit the installations. We organize 6 during these years. We organized 6 events like this, and they continue afterwards. One of these events, network events, occurred in the wastewater treatment plant in León, Guanajuato. León, Guanajuato was, this plant was chosen as a demonstration project for biogas reuse. This plant has installed 2 motor generator and a desulfurization tower. And the motor generators were out of operation due to the bad quality of biogas, due to the presence of sulfur. And this desulfurization tower came from Denmark and was brand new. They didn't even start it up. It was not being operated because in the plant they didn't know how to use it. So what we did in this project was to help them to start it up and operate it. And of course, we share this experience even with the doc of the plant. We share this experience with the operators from this plant and other in Mexico. Also, another important network experience that we had recently was the foundation of the National Council of Biogas. That is a non-profit civil association founded 2.5 years ago. It has the objective is to promote the sustainable development of the value chain of the biogas sector through the collaboration, the development of capacities and technical solution, communication, and very important political and regulatory incidents. Nowadays, it has a participation of 79 members from many sectors of the biogas, academic, independent consultants, and enterprises, of different size, micro, small, medium, and large, and also some representatives of other NGOs and civil associations. The most recent project that we carried out in the National Council of Biogas was financed by a grant with a grant agreement by the GIC. That is a project for the capacity building and linking in the waste to energy sector. In this project, we offered 8 courses for waste to energy sector. We benefited 55 institutions of public sector and 109 micro, small, medium, and medium enterprises. We also promote the certification of 11 professionals in the standard of competence for biogas projects, and we gave technical advice to 6 potential biogas projects. But I want to show you which were the results of all these capacity building and linking project. After this project, 75 of the companies started to linkage with other actors related to biogas sector. This is a very high number, and we are very pleased to hear that. Also, 62% of the companies reinforced their products and services offered, and this was due to the training and the courses that we offered. Also, 37% of the companies that participated in this project implemented new products or services. 61 of the companies that participated in the project identified opportunities, new opportunities for circular economy. So the lesson learned after this project is that raising awareness of in the biogas sector, the capacity building, the technologies and management of these projects, and the networking activities have a very strong and good impact for the competitiveness of the companies and participants that are involved. Also, I want to share with you the answers of the participants when we asked them which are the factors that motivate the interest of their companies in the biogas investment. As you can see, the technical issues like the knowledge and specialized personnel are not a big concern for them. Regulation and legislation, it's somewhat important, but the economic factors related with pandemics, and on top of that, the investment amount of this kind of project and the long payback period of these projects are the main concerns. And here, I want to stop in this word, payback period. This means that many companies, or mainly large companies, do have the resources, the financial resources to invest for the treatment of their wastes and the biogas reuse, that they choose not to do it because it's not a good business, and it's not enough good business for them. They prefer to invest in another opportunities with more economic rewarding, and this should not be an issue. If the legislation apply in a country where all the industries and municipalities should or are obliged to treat their wastes, the payback period should not be an issue. They just treat their wastes and choose the technology that has that the most technical and economical feasible technology, and of course anaerobic and technologies and biogas reuse will be a very good option. So it is clear for us that it is necessary to involve political decision makers who influence in public policies. And if we really want to promote biogas projects, we need to create an adequate framework for biogas projects. If not, the biogas market in Mexico will still be at the minimum necessary, and not the one that the country requires. It is necessary to oblige the correct treatment of wastes due to sanitation priorities. In many times, I have heard that biogas is being promoted by the Ministry of Energy in order to produce clean energy, but in reality, the biogas is just a bonus. The main objective of biogas projects is the sanitation itself, and we need to raise awareness in the environmental authorities in Mexico about that. Another important goal for in the National Council of Biogas is the support of demonstration pilot projects in Mexico, especially regarding biomethane purification and reuse. We have already a member in the CNBiogás that is willing and very interested to invest in a demonstration pilot project for biomethane, but we need to help this to help for the follow-up of a project of norm for the biomethane use, because in Mexico we don't have a legislation for the biomethane use, and neither for the injection to the natural gas grid or the vehicle fuel. So I hope that these experiences that I